Tomorrow marks 1 month since Hamas launched a brutal attack in Israel. Since then, thousands of people have been killed in the war, and tensions continue to rise. Here at home, 2 rallies in support of Israel and Palestine led to a conflict. Thanks so much for being here at 4. I'm Kay Quinn. In Clayton this weekend, there was a silent prayer protest to show solidarity with Israel. And on the Del Mar Loop, there was a march for Palestinians calling for a ceasefire. 2 separate events that escalated the tension. 5 on your side's Justina Coronel joins us now in studio to explain. Justina?
These 2 rallies were taking place at the same time, and they're about 10 minutes away from each other. Efrat Okev is from Israel, and she's been living in St. Louis for the last 20 years. She tells me she was at the rally for Israel yesterday. She and a few others say they decided to go to the rally for Palestine to talk to other community members. Okev said she wanted to show her support for Israel and carried the Israeli flag. She tells me that's when someone snatched the flag and then several people stomped on it. Okev said she felt threatened hearing people laugh and say death threats. I also caught up with Naveen Aish with the American Muslims for Palestine Missouri chapter. Now, they organized that rally yesterday, and she tells me some people in the crowd felt triggered by the waving Israeli flag. While both women don't see eye to eye, they're both wanting change.
I hope that people really read and understand this conflict. The Middle East, it's complicated. Educate people, need to be educated, need to check their sources, do not believe everything.
Right now, the top demand is a ceasefire. We want a ceasefire now. There cannot be peace until there is peace for the Palestinian people.
Now, Kev did file a police report with the University City Police Department. We did reach out to U City Police for more information, but we have not heard back just yet.
All right, thank you, Justina. Earlier today, a group of pro-Palestinian protesters held a demonstration at a Boeing facility in St. Charles. Unnamed defense officials told the New York Times last month the company was supplying weapons to Israel that were produced at the plant there. A spokesperson from Boeing said it was working with law enforcement to ensure everyone's safety. And overseas, Israel is entering its 5th week of war. There have been calls for a ceasefire from around the world, and the U.S. is no exception. NBC's Tracy Wilkins with the latest on the humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
Israeli troops may enter Gaza City today or Tuesday in ground warfare that's expected to increase casualties on both sides of the conflict. Hamas is reporting that over the weekend, Israel struck a refugee camp in Gaza, killing dozens, according to NBC News. Israel's military is not commenting on that claim. This as U.S. Arab allies are pleading with the U.S. to rein Israel in.
Human values dictate that we work for peace and we stop this madness.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken heard those calls firsthand during his weekend trip to the Middle East.
Every country I talk to is looking for us to play a leading role with our diplomacy to try to make progress on all of these different aspects of the crisis.
Blinken spent the weekend building support for President Biden's call for Israel to take humanitarian pauses in Gaza to help free more than 200 hostages, including some Americans, and allow for the safe transport of food, water, and medicine. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his allies are rejecting calls for a pause.
Prime Minister Netanyahu is going to do what he wants to do here. And look, this has been obviously the pattern with him with multiple U.S. presidents.
Protesters across the globe and in the U.S. held demonstrations this weekend.
Bring them home.
During Sunday's New York City Marathon, pro-Israeli and pro-Palestinian supporters holding dueling protests. In D.C., tens of thousands of protesters called for Israel to cease fire, something the U.S. does not support.
Palestine! Free Palestine!
While mostly peaceful, those protesters left their mark, smeared red handprints on the walls and gates of the White House, representing blood. In Washington, Tracy Wilkins, NBC News.
Will we see record-setting high temperatures this week? How warm are we talking? Meteorologist Jim Castillo with what can only be described as a weird weather first forecast, Jim.
It is, Kay. So that warm breeze that we had today definitely is still with us. And over the next several days, we're expecting those high temperatures to be close to the records. But then by Wednesday is the day that we can actually break the record high, which is in the low 80s. Right now we're at 74, west wind at 8 miles an hour. And that humidity, you feel that? It's 55%. Dew point is climbing. That's the measure of the amount of moisture available in the atmosphere. There's a cold front coming in, and that's why our temperature dropped just a little bit, plus the clouds have increased. But Monday's high likely about 77 is what we hit today so far. Tuesday, 77, and that's both below the record highs. Then Wednesday, if we hit that 83, the record high 82, so we'll break that. Right now, Pittsfield at 69, 75 in Chesterfield, and temperature is really everywhere in the 70s. Coming up, we'll take a look at very minimal rain chances in the forecast. Okay.
All right, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you, Jim. The state of Missouri is prepared to support Boeing's planned expansion at St. Louis Lambert International Airport. That expansion would include a $1.8 billion investment and would create more than 500 jobs. The state approved several incentives for Boeing, including $8 million through the BUILD program. The aerospace company has already had a presence in the area for nearly 8 decades. Boeing's current manufacturing plant in St. Louis is the second largest defense contractor in the country, employing more than 16,000 people. Just hours ago, bills regulating short-term rentals in the city of St. Louis became law. Mayor Tashora Jones signed 2 bills that will require short-term renters have a permit to operate in city limits. Property owners who register their rentals will have to pay nearly double the commercial property tax rate. There's also a 2-night minimum stay and caps of 4 rental properties per owner. Look for the new laws to be fully implemented by the end of 2024. Tomorrow is Municipal Election Day in Missouri. Polling places open at 6 a.m. Among the top issues on the ballot, the annexation of land by the city of Manchester, a sales tax on recreational marijuana, and safety upgrades at the Rockwood School District. Remember, you need a current Missouri driver's license or government-issued ID to vote. We'll bring you all of the results tomorrow night on 5 on Your Side at 10. Missouri's Attorney General files another lawsuit to stop access to abortion, the federal agency he accuses of breaking the law. Donald Trump takes the stand in his civil fraud trial, why the judge had to tell the former president, quote, "This is not a political rally."